Hello, tacticians and strategists. Welcome to Strategic Mind, the Pacific. So this game is a very nice addition to the other Let's Plays on my channel, Playing Hardball, because it is covering the Second World War in the Pacific War between Japan, Imperial Japan, and the United States, raging from 1941 to 1945 and ending with the drop of 2 atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, 2 Japanese towns. And as I just watched the movie Oppenheimer, which I, by the way, can totally recommend, it will be especially interesting for me personally to see what led to this decision, you know. So the United States, I bet they didn't do that lightheartedly. And well, they lost a lot of their, I think, their aspect of being good guys, of being the good guys with doing that. But yeah, we might want to discuss that at a later point. Here, as we can see, the whole thing started with Pearl Harbour, and as with my other Let's Plays that focus on a historic game, I will always talk a little bit more about history because I'm also interested in it. And the game doesn't cover so much of the actual historic facts. But this game here, that's what I like about it very much, is that this is a very nice step into the right direction. So we do have a narrative, we do have cutscenes. This game is based on the Panzer General concept, but they implemented a number of fresh ideas, and I personally like it very much. On my channel, you can also see this prologue for Strategic Mind, Spirit of Liberty that is in the making. That is still in the making at the moment. And it looks very promising. I mean, I'm not an expert. I played this prologue here, so I know a lot of these mechanics. And yeah, we'll see. But I'm not an expert, so. But I will play it on a challenging level, and it is certainly a challenging game. Yeah, but of course there are certain rules involved, which are of course just logic. So, I mean, with the little destroyer, you shouldn't attack a huge battleship. However, the battleship is vulnerable to air attacks and being torpedoed. Yeah. And things like that. So basically the rock, paper, scissors concept, yeah, like in real life. So a tank has an advantage, like an open terrain, to run over exposed infantry. However, the tank should probably stay out of urban areas, yeah, where the tank crew can't see anything, yeah, or like thick forest or something. So we will focus on the tactical aspects. This game comes
following the treacherous
with 2
since time
campaigns
immemorial
for the Japanese and the United States. This year will be the Let's Play, the playthrough for the United States. You can find the playthrough for the Japanese that starts with Pearl Harbor, with the attack on Pearl Harbor, in another playthrough, and you can find the link to that playthrough down below in the video description of this and every other video of this playlist. And I will play the first mission here, which is the Coral Sea. I already played into it. But after that, we will focus on Japan for a moment, because I want to play it in the chronological order. And the whole thing started, of course, like with the United States as war participant in 1941 when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. And just to tell you a little bit more about the historical background, so why actually did Imperial Japan attacked the United States. Yeah, I mean, they knew themselves that they could never win the battle or like a war against the United States because they had only a fraction of the resources. I mean, after all, the United States have a whole nearly a whole continent for themselves with all its resources and all its oil and other stuff that's vital and relevant. So the Japanese actually had invaded China in the 1930s because they had struggled, as many other countries like Germany, the German Reich, for example, as well. They had struggled during the Great Depression during the 1920s, and they had particular problems with the economy. That's why they went to China, occupied parts of it, like the old traditional way, to start a war and exploit another country, basically, to put everything in a little nutshell. So, and the United States put a huge and very stiff embargo on them. And as Japan was totally dependent on the United States as an oil deliverer, they received like 80% of the oil from the United States, actually. That would have crippled the economy and any war effort, of course. So they thought about what to do. And they had, when they started to think about their invasion plans, they had two choices: going north, the way north, or going south, the so-called way south. The way north would have been an invasion of the Soviet Union, actually, which and they had actually some border clashes with the Soviet Union in the 1930s, so like 1937 and 1939, where they actually got a bloody nose, because they met a number of Soviet tanks, and they didn't have anything that could compete with it. And they suffered a significant loss, a significant defeat, and got more cautious, apparently. But they had plans, actually, to conquer the far east of the Soviet Union up to the Baikal Sea, actually, which I find very interesting. So, and that would have given them access to oil, all the oil they needed. However, of course, they were not stupid, so they decided to go the easier way. At least that's what they thought. And that was China and going for the Dutch East Asia. So basically Indonesia. And well, I guess that there was also some thinking involved, like throwing the old European colonial powers out of Southeast Asia, and to break their hegemony. And the oil, and as well as other vital resources like rubber, for example, they got in Indonesia. So, and that's why they decided to go south, because it appeared to be the easier way, and that overall their big strategy was to cripple the United States. So the United States actually had a certain numerical advantage with the numbers of ships, and with this sneak attack, basically the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. They leveled the field because they were able to destroy a number of battleships. So, and the American campaign starts actually a little bit after this, with the battle in the Coral Sea, which is actually like 5.5 months or so into the war. And what happened before was, as I said, the attack on Pearl Harbor, and basically a first wave of expansion of the Japanese into Southeast Asia. They made simultaneous attacks on a number of colonies involving, including like the Philippines, for example, So, and I'm not sure if the game is really providing all these missions in the correct chronological order. And I wonder why we are starting just with the Coral Sea, but historically this was actually the first time the Japanese were held off. Yeah, so it was actually, like in strategic terms at least, it was the first success for the United States. So this is where we can start. And another important factor was, of course, that the Chinese had implemented kind of a view on themselves pretty similar to the to Nazi Germany, that they were feeling superior than other races. That was part of their justification for war with China as well. So they dehumanized the Chinese. And that's basically the same as Nazi Germany did with the Slavic people of Eastern Europe, to justify their plans of conquer. So, and that's where we are here. Let's start the game.
Following the treacherous and unexpected Japanese attack at Pearl Harbor on the morning of December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the U.S. territories in the Pacific began falling one by one to the Japanese invasion. As the U.S. struggles to bring together its naval forces in the Pacific and prepare retaliation, you have to take the role of Admiral Chester William Nimitz, newly appointed Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Your task is to bring together all the U.S. naval forces demoralized by a series of disgraceful defeats, strengthen them, heighten their spirits, and prepare to turn the tide of the Pacific War. By employing carefully considered strategy, shrewd tactical moves, providing your forces with the newest and most up-to-date equipment, and exploiting enemy weaknesses, you have to retake all territories seized by the Empire of Japan in the Pacific, and then invade their homeland. The whole world needs to be made aware of what happens when one dares to attack the United States of America.
Yeah, so this is Admiral Nimitz, whom we represent. Yeah, and this here, the Day of Infamy, refers to a speech given by Franklin D. Roosevelt, President Roosevelt, the United States president of that time, because the declaration of war had not been given prior to the attack. So let's start it, and I have to warn you a little bit so we can see. I mean, I personally think that the game has a lot of character, but yeah, the voice actors. Yeah, so this game is from Ukraine actually, and my secondary motivation to play this one here is also like to support these guys these days, especially these days, being victims of another authoritarian regime and political figure. Yeah, so we will hear voice actors from Ukraine, I think, and yeah, I mean it's maybe not if you are a US American or something yourself, then it's probably not very convincing for you, but I would just say, well, just take it as a characteristic, maybe even a little bit satirical thing. There is a comical element to the cutscenes, and primarily it's of course a strategy game, with some very nice aspects, as we will soon see. So yeah, and let's do it on challenging. The game is pretty challenging, and I think this is fine like this without becoming tedious.
Greetings and good morning, Hawaii. You're listening to Radio Honolulu. Today, December the 7th, the weather is perfect, and we would like to bring this song for the listening pleasure of all U.S. military personnel on Hawaii. From every quarter, from the north, south, east, and west, to clear
Jenny, why aren't you eating?
we love the best. We've left our occupation and home so far and dear, but when the going's rather rough,
Mom, is Daddy going to leave us again today? Yes, Jenny. You know full well that he's on duty, even on Sundays.
Good morning, Mr. Zip, 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 you're surely
Hey, you two. I have a surprise for both of you. I took the day off so I could spend the entire day with two beautiful ladies.
We get to play with Daddy today.
Don't worry. The Arizona will somehow manage without me for one whole day.
The lady didn't say anything, right? With the prospect of her husband being there for the whole day. So, but this refers to the fact that most of the officers were actually living with their families, their houses. And so basically the ships were only meant with the youngest, some youngest sailors basically on Sunday. So the attack was commenced on Sunday because they expected that most people were actually, most soldiers were actually off duty. However, the Japanese, despite this surprise and the tactical success, they only managed to sink 4 of the 8 battleships, and they didn't even touch the real strategic resources of Pearl Harbor, which were the oil reserves, harbor facilities like the dock, submarine docks,
Mommy,
in the shipyard, for
Mommy.
example.
Mommy. Get up. Mommy, please, get up. Mommy. Please, get up. Mommy. Please.
Dramatic.
This is preposterous. Utterly preposterous. Our Pacific Fleet has been destroyed at Pearl Harbor, clearly demonstrating an unprecedented level of complacency and incompetence in our high command. On top of all this disastrous news, our territories in the Pacific are being captured by the Japanese daily. Gentlemen, this cannot be allowed to continue. Admiral Nimitz, you are hereby appointed the new Commander-in-Chief of the United States Pacific Fleet. I expect you to fully engage the Japanese and put an end to this nonsense immediately. You must save our nation. Do I make myself perfectly clear?
Mr. President, indeed, the situation is dire. However, I'm convinced that decisive actions will swing the balance in our favor.
Mr. President, the appointment of Chester Nimitz is the best thing that you could have done to put the Japanese in their place. Together we will protect our country from the Japanese threat.
It is my direct command to you, Admiral Nimitz, that the Japanese offensive in the Pacific be completely thwarted.
Yes, sir.
Ernest, Chester, do not let our country down.
Oh my God, it is worse than in the newspapers. Oklahoma, capsized, 429 dead. Arizona, exploded, 1,177 dead. We have lost so many brave seamen, and it all happened in 1 hour. How many more have to die before we end this war?
I hope that we can get back at those damn Japs, sir.
We have to regain our strength first. Then retaliate at the right moment. And here comes my fleet.
All but 2 of the battleships could be repaired though.
Enter.
Naval Intelligence Officer Lieutenant Commander Layton, reporting for duty as ordered, sir.
At ease, Lieutenant Commander. Give me the situation report.
The Japanese carrier task force is headed in a...
read the report, Layton. I am interested in the officer's mood, not the statistics.
Well, after everything that happened, sir, everyone expects to be relieved of duty. I'm also willing to take responsibility for our collective failures, sir. Who should I transfer my duties to?
Sit down, Lieutenant Commander. Lieutenant Commander, I've scrutinized the report and the attack on the Pearl Harbor. I have come to the conclusion that you and the other officers are not to blame. It could have happened to anyone. It's my sincere hope, Layton, that you and all the other men will remain in your assigned duties. America most assuredly needs you.
Well, Admiral, we all know this is a catastrophe, sir. Our Pacific Fleet is all but destroyed.
No. I would not say that's true. Our aircraft carriers are still in good shape. So, despite the devastating blow, it's still too early for us to give up. This is especially true in your case, Layton. You have spent years in Tokyo, and you studied the Japanese mentality and their traditions and know them better than anyone else. Your knowledge is an invaluable asset. Edwin, let's assume that you are Admiral Yamamoto. What would your next move be?
Well, sir, I would focus on this southern region, sir. The Japanese are in dire need of fuel. So they're going to have to occupy New Guinea. And then all the nearby islands which are rich in oil. At the same time, they should try to capture Port Moresby, which is to support any subsequent invasion of Australia.
That is exactly what I have assumed as well. And that is where we're going to stop them.
From the Commander-in-Chief, United States Fleet, Admiral Ernest King, to the Commander-in-Chief, United States Pacific Fleet, Admiral Chester Nimitz. The situation in the Pacific Theatre has deteriorated rapidly over the last 4 months. The Japanese have seized vast operational areas and are now on the verge of invading Australia. The Port Moresby base in New Guinea is the last obstacle in their way. Its loss would be a catastrophe for our defence in the Pacific Southwest sector. Intelligence reports a group of Japanese transport ships which are being escorted by a carrier will soon be heading to Port Moresby for a troop landing and deployment. Further, be advised, 2 Japanese carriers left the base in Rabaul. They are assumed to have been ordered to the Coral Sea to provide air cover for the landing operation. The Southwest Sector Commander, General MacArthur, will try to hold Port Moresby at all costs. Unfortunately, his forces are insufficient to carry this out. Only the Navy can stop the Japanese. I command you to send a carrier task force to the Coral Sea to detect and destroy the Japanese invading forces.
From Admiral Nimitz to Admiral King, I sent Task Force 17, including carrier Yorktown, to intercept the anticipated Japanese attack.
Admiral Fletcher reports. Task Force 17 has reached the designated location.
Great. Your next step will be to join forces with Task Force 11, located near the island of San Cristobal. To establish contact, your ships must arrive at the specified area. Upon uniting our fleet, locate and eliminate the Japanese forces. According to intelligence reports, the enemy is expected to attack from the north. Bear in mind that after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, every major naval vessel counts. Under no circumstances can we allow for the loss of the Yorktown. Without such a valuable combat unit, our defeat would be imminent.
So, as we can see, beautiful hex fields. In the beginning, I have to say I didn't like the colors very much. And I thought, well, oh my goodness, this looks like Candy Crush. But you get used to it, and for me it's nice now. With the middle mouse button, you can just zoom in, look at the models. Left
Your
mouse
forces
button.
are comprised of both core and non-core units. Core unit strength indicator is green and round-shaped, and for non-core units it is yellow and hexagon-shaped. Non-core units are allocated for one mission only, while the core units will accompany you throughout the campaign. You will be able to level them up and provide them with new equipment. These units are the ones which should be under your primary protection.
Yeah, that's the old Panzer General concept.
We aim for the sky.
And I like it that they've even done it for colorblind people. So this one here is round. That's our core unit. This shape here is the auxiliary unit, and enemy units have a square. So this is here, this is New Britain, Ario. And this is Tulagi. So we got the information that they come from the north somewhere. So somewhere here maybe. And this here is Port Moresby, which is basically the gateway to Australia. So if the Japanese can actually take this area here, they will have a staging ground to attack Australia. So, and I like it. They gave quite some significant information about the real historic facts. And in my opinion, this game takes a lot of very good steps into the right direction. By the way, we can see here that we have all these planes here, right? So the icons, it's what we have loaded here. If this one takes off, the icon leaves the carrier
Ammunition
as well.
and fuel icons next to unit strength will allow you to quickly get important information about it. If the unit is still able to move during the current turn, the canister icon will be green. If it can no longer move, the icon will be gray. Likewise, the ammunition icon shows whether the unit has attacked this turn. If the unit is low on ammunition or fuel, the corresponding icon is yellow. It becomes red once the unit has run out of it completely.
Yeah, so we are supposed to join forces with Task Force 11, right?
Patrolling the area.
So let's sail there.
We have established contact with Task Force 11.
Great. Take command of all ships. Yorktown alone would not stand a chance against the Japanese, but a joint fleet with 2 carriers has a good chance of winning this battle.
Oh, I was coming there.
A Japanese recon aircraft has been sighted close to our task force.
It cannot be allowed to escape. I do not want to alert the Japanese High Command with the advance news of our attack. Send fighters to intercept the enemy plane.
Okay, so now we have it on our radar.
We will rock your world.
So with the left mouse button you select units. With the middle mouse button you can have the information screen. You open the information screen, and with the right one you do the action either attack or move. So middle mouse button goes in here. The units do have equipment slots where we can put certain stuff in. So for example, this heavy cruiser here is equipped with incendiary shells.
Ships consist of various ship parts such as hull, engine, main gun, second gun, anti-aircraft gun, and others. Most of them have their own HP indicating their current state. When hull HP drops to 0, the ship is destroyed. Ship firepower depends on the current HP of each individual gun.
And that's a very interesting system. So the destroyer can attack with his torpedo tube once per turn, twice with the gun, with this 1 or 2 millimeter main gun, and theoretically if there are planes in the air, twice with this 76 millimeter Mk9 anti-aircraft gun. And they could also throw depth charges if there's a submarine around. And we should make sure that our engine is at full HP, because then only then we have the full amount of movement points. So otherwise this is pretty similar to the Panzer General series, and for example Panzer Corps, which I'm also playing in a Let's Play. And here we also have certain abilities. So every unit does have certain abilities, and if we level up we can choose some more. And there are also heroes. I'm not going to read all this, but you can mouse over it if you want. You can click the pause button and read it for yourself. This is based on actual historical persons, and if we get the hero, for example here this one, he's for an escort ship. There are others who are, oh, he's the only one for an escort ship, huh? Oh yeah, okay. Then we can assign the hero to the ship, and then when leveling up we can choose from these special abilities. And I'd like to have this guy here as quickly as possible, so we get this plus 10% prestige for each operation completion. So we need to make sure that we get as much experience as possible, and this works by dealing damage, by receiving damage, and by killing an enemy unit. Right? So, and of course we want to, and that's basically the same as with the Panzer General series, we want to make sure that our core units get most of the experience. So most of the kills. Okay then. So here's the battleship.
Capital ships are equipped with long-range, powerful main guns capable of striking through an armored deck. Secondary guns can repel approaching escort ships with barrage fire. Capital ships are vulnerable to submarine and aircraft attacks, but they require an escort of destroyers. However, artillery strikes from guns with low attack value cannot pierce their armored deck. They can also send a reconnaissance seaplane to scout the area.
Right, so and this is the thing. This one, the battleship as well as the heavy cruiser, comes with armored deck. And that's the thing, that's a good thing, because then enemies with an attack rate of 15 or lower, or like below 15, can't hurt us. They only damage these equipment pieces here, which we also repair every turn, so that doesn't matter. And there's another interesting mechanic. The victory points. We get prestige based on our accomplishments. However, if we lose our units, or even power points, we lose prestige. And I find that one pretty interesting. We also have to pay basically for the repair of non-core units, and we lose prestige if they get destroyed completely. And I think that is pretty nice, because it prevents us from being reckless and inhumane and just sending people into the enemy fire as cannon fodder, right?
Action.
So by clicking another time, we can also speed up
Aircraft
the process.
carrier, or simply carrier, is a mobile floating airfield at your disposal. Each carrier can carry several aircraft units on board. You can see the exact carrier capacity in its combat parameters. It also has a huge storage of ammunition and fuel on board, which is used to refuel and rearm aircraft units upon landing, as well as for the carrier's own needs. Carriers are vulnerable and a high priority target for the enemy, thus they should be kept at a safe distance attacking with their aircraft from afar. Yet they have powerful anti-aircraft guns which they can use to repel enemy air raids. If the carrier's flight deck has 0 HP left, or the carrier is on fire, its flight deck is no longer functional and aircraft cannot land or take off.
Yeah. So, right, and we can do an emergency repair with the capital ships up to several times per mission to repair one of these pieces of equipment here. So, and we have our planes on board, so let's sail there.
This is the way to go.
Right, and there we are. So, and we saw
all these fancy new carriers will not
there's
replace
also a supply
good old
system in place.
400mm naval guns.
So this here is a seaport or maritime hub, and this is the area that we get supplies from. So if an enemy is here and blocks it, then none of our units will get resupplied, which is of course pretty significant. And this one here. Us there. Okay, so we don't get anything in here right now. We can actually attack and bombard these buildings as well, and then they lose the ability to provide supplies as well, which opens up quite some interesting strategies. So here we are. I think, well, we need to
do we get to blow up some enemy vessels?
Verifying the enemy's location.
We need to find the enemy's fleet.
Verifying the enemy's location.
But it could be that they are arriving later, right? So, and here the command points, that's also interesting. We get as a general, or like as the admiral, we get more and more abilities. So, and at the moment we have the aviation recon ability that summons this recon plane. And later on we can choose other benefits, and it always costs 5 command points depending on the number of units we deploy. We of course can't use all our command points. We can't concentrate on everything, but at the moment we have an income of 18, so we can actually send some
Verifying
more here.
The enemy's location.
And they should have like a side range of up to 3 or 4. Okay, so no one is there yet. Oh, and we need to shoot down this plane.
Carriers are the main instrument of modern warfare.
This year, our Wildcat.
Fighter planes are vital for gaining air superiority. Keep your fighters close to allied aircraft you want to protect, and they will provide fire support. Fighters are able to attack ground targets, although with low efficiency. They can use the Overwatch breakthrough skill to counter enemy anti-aircraft fire and clear the way for tactical bombers.
So this is our core unit. This is our core carrier. And as we can see, the carrier can transport up to 3 units, right? So, and we do have this fighter, a Wildcat. We have 1 dive bomber, the Dauntless, and we have 1 Devastator, a torpedo bomber, in here. So, and actually this one here, like now that we are on board, we can actually choose some other equipment and pay for this one here. With the torpedo, we can actually get a better one. Unfortunately, we can't use the radar. This can only be installed between the operations. Okay, but that's fine otherwise.
Tactical bombers are flying artillery and a great tool for wreaking havoc on any enemy troops, although you have to be careful of the anti-aircraft units Overwatch and fire support. It is better to scout the enemy positions before sending in bombers. Do not leave your tactical bombers without protection. Remember, they are a prime target for enemy fighter planes.
So and here we can use ammunition that we have to pay for with prestige for every attack. But of course it can be pretty worthwhile. So let's put it in there. Into our tactical bomber.
Carrier-based aircraft is different from ordinary aviation, as it can land and take off from carriers. It can resupply ammunition and fuel and restore its damage on board a carrier. It can also change its equipment while on a carrier. However, in order to be reinforced, it has to land at an airfield.
Yeah, and landing on an airfield is what we are going to do right now, because... Oh well, these guys here, our fighter, will shoot down this one first, so... Depending on from which direction I want to attack, I can shoot it, right? So like from here.
You're gonna love it.
So he just started from the carrier.
Damage is indicated above the unit being attacked.
The aircraft has been shot down.
Great. We made sure he was not able to reveal our location.
Good, and we just read there we got some VP victory points. And that's one secondary objective, right? So we can have a total of up to 400 per mission. And these ones here, the victory points, we can invest into skills after the mission. And also we get additional prestige if we clear the stuff, right? So...
All systems are go.
My idea is
Let's
now,
pray for good weather.
as there's an attack coming, let's actually fly to this airfield here.
We'll get there in no time.
You saw it, right? The plane started from the carrier. And now we can land on the airfield, which is also a good thing. Because then it doesn't cost us on the carrier, right?
Ready to launch our Air Force.
Our planes are the
then
best.
we are more flexible once any invasion force might show up. Landing it on the field.
We have an island on board, sir.
Here we've got auxiliary units, and this the Yorktown has an enlarged hangar.
Enemies are high. We are higher. Speed is of the essence.
We also took off, right? Now it's not the plane is not on the carrier anymore. Going there and landing on the airfield.
We'll carry you through this battle.
We do the same with the others.
We cut through
left
the
now
air.
For an immediate arrival.
We're eager to fly.
Right
Let's
click
not exceed
here,
our range.
left click to speed up the thing.
I fly the newest model in my sleep.
Devastator. The last plane here. Right click.
No hurry at all. Just over 200 miles an
Started
hour.
now. Our flight deck is empty, right? Left click. And they are there. Okay, so and they are automatically refueled and resupplied and restocked, and any planes, and that's something I like as well. So we do have these planes here. The icons here say there are 6 wings present at the airfield. Yeah, we shouldn't get bombarded here though.
Better to die than to live and not fly.
And I think we could maybe give our guys... No, they don't need anything. Oh, well, actually they could. They could get bombs. So let's give them bombs. Because then you can make them
Hey, the
tactical
skies are
bombers.
ours.
They are down
We
here.
live
This one is
to
there.
fly.
Let's make them tactical bombers.
On the ground,
And I
everything's
think,
so
they don't
hectic.
need really anything. We could put this one in. Actually, I don't think that I'm going to use it because I try to. I'm
You
going
can see
to
the
try to
world's harmony in the
maximize
skies. I was born
the
a
prestige
pilot.
because we need more stuff, right? Oh, yeah, but we can get the better torpedo. So this one here is for free, basically. But we can, if we discard it, we get the prestige back. But here, this one is way better, so let's do it. Or it's providing us with a lower reduction of these numbers here.
Let's pray for good weather.
Yeah, and they already have the better one. Right? Okay, so that cost us a little bit of prestige, but it's fine. And I think that's a good investment. So, here we can check all our units. We can see who moved. No one shot yet. Only aircraft, only naval units, only ground units. We don't have any ground units. We don't have anybody in reserve. And that's basically all we can do. I'm just saving the command points. Here, this is prestige. Here we could requisition another unit. Battleship costs 3,100 prestige. Too much for us. This is something I would like. A heavy cruiser. And actually, I think the heavy cruiser is probably even better, all in all, than the battleship, because it can shoot in the air as well. And that's probably a really good thing. Shooting at planes with a range of 4. Like the Yorktown. So I'd also like another carrier. But I guess that will take some time to get more planes in the air. So then we can choose the destroyer, the Gacho submarine, Wildcat, Dauntless, and Devastator. Unfortunately, we always need the carrier capacity, so there's no use in buying more planes, even though we have an airfield where we could actually land them. So we need a carrier before, and there's actually there's only the Yorktown. Yeah, so later on there's also an improvised carrier that can carry 2, but it doesn't have such a good gun. So this is all we can do here at the moment. Let's end the turn. Nothing is forgotten, I hope.
From General MacArthur to Admiral Nimitz. My pilots spotted a group of Japanese warships heading for Tulagi Island. Apparently, they are planning to seize the island. Our garrison does not stand a chance against an attack. However, your fleet is capable of overpowering any invading forces. Now would be the perfect time for intervention. The troops on their transport ships are extremely vulnerable. You must help my men protect Tulagi.
I'd rather not take the reports of MacArthur's army pilots at face value. They are not accustomed to naval operations and could give us an incorrect assessment of the situation. We have to send our reconnaissance float plane to scout the area around Tulagi.
Okay, so that was General MacArthur. And in real history, by the way, Tulagi was taken by the Japanese. So let's
Did we
send.
get to blow up some enemy vessels?
Let's send our guys.
Verifying the enemy's location.
I mean, it's zoomed here, so. Ah, yeah.
Good. Now we know for sure what's going on around Tulagi.
Let's make sure no one's here on the side.
Verifying the enemy's location.
Okay, that's them, okay. So they just arrived. That means we should attack them. So our ships are not in range yet. Here, this
We are on a floating fortress.
We can see we are resupplied. We are getting supplies here and there again. So we are out of range to shoot at them, right? Although with our really big guns here, we can shoot up to 6 tiles with the big battleship. So let's concentrate on our air force for the moment. Let's make an airstrike at these guys.
Hey, the skies are ours. Enemies are high. We are higher.
So our if we attack them, these are 3 destroyers. They have the ability to do an air defense once per turn, so they have 2 shots with this anti-aircraft gun. Let's activate our bombs. They don't cost anything. Let's use our afterburner that activates some fuel, but it doesn't matter because basically there's a limitless supply of fuel here on this airfield, contrary to our carrier, by the way.
We'll carry you through this battle.
Where we have only a limited supply of 270. So that adds up actually if we use up
we had trouble hearing your orders at this altitude.
40 units of fuel, right? So, but let's use the afterburner. That gives us +4 to all defenses.
We'll hunt them down.
And then we just, that's the best we can do in my opinion. Just to dare them to shoot at us. Good, so.
With blinding speed.
We got 1 damaged plane. The good thing is if we land on an airfield or on one of our carriers, it gets repaired. However, if we lose a strength point, like permanently, then it's basically a dead unit. Yeah, a destroyed plane. But now only 1 is damaged. So it will regain 1 point of strength once we get it repaired.
We had been pilots before we were born. Gotta do it, boys. Godspeed.
In our Wildcat,
trouble hearing your orders at this
we use
altitude.
the afterburner and attack this one here.
Gotta do it, boys.
And after that we can send in our bombers that have a lower, unfortunately a lower number of defense.
We got through the air.
Yeah, as we can see, afterburners +4, right? Ground defense 10 +4. So and the Dauntless is
You can see the world's harmony in the skies.
Ground defense 10. Well, the torpedo
Let's pray for
bomber
good
has
weather.
ground defense of 4, especially with the torpedo. It's a problem. So let's
We're
use
eager
the
to
Dauntless
fly.
first. And the Dauntless
When we
can
fly, our enemies are
sink
closer
the
to
ship.
good. Did we just kill 3 or 4 units?
So I
That's a shame
think
it was
that
full.
keeping a little bit of distance is actually a good thing to reduce their effectiveness for their guns, right? I'm not sure though, but it could be.
The skies are calling. I fly the newest model in my sleep.
So let's sink this one. We have 2 units to sink.
With great power comes
Let's
greater
use our
bombs.
core units for that.
A finishing blow. You can see
And
the
this
world's
Dauntless
harmony in the skies.
That has a
We
better
deliver them
defense
one-way
value,
tickets
so
to
we
hell.
use it like here.
Yeah, it was a nice run.
And after bombing or attacking, planes usually can move away 1 tile.
On the ground, everything's so hectic.
And I think we are just attacking this one here. By the way, attacking it with the torpedo is a bad idea because it's a destroyer, and destroyers have a very high torpedo defense, 16 points. Also, it's a moving target, if we were to destroy the engine, then it's not a moving target anymore, and then it also loses the this bonus here, the defense bonus. So let's attack it. Let's hope they don't shoot down any
It's
planes,
raining death.
like permanently. Okay, just 1 damage, okay. That's fine.
No hurry at all. Just over 200 miles an hour.
Alright. So and now we can move our ships in. So these guys, we got the torpedo tube, which is a bit sad. I had actually hoped to hit the anti-aircraft gun. And actually, like, for even better outcome, it could have been better to actually attack the ship with the Dauntless, with the dive bomber, because with the dive bomber we can actually target a specific part of the ship, like the equipment, not the engine, unless we have an ability for that, I think. Like a hero might come with an ability. Skilled gunner? No. Overrun? First strike? No. I think there is something that gives us the opportunity to choose to actually attack the engine. Or actually... no, I know.
The submarine is an invisible enemy unless it is detected via sonar. It can make powerful attacks with torpedoes and then instantly retreat to avoid detection. Torpedoes deal damage exclusively to ship hull, thus being a very effective tool to make quick work of damaging or destroying an enemy ship.
Yeah, the submarine has the special ability to attack the engine, actually. So we would aim for the rudder. Okay, so that's the situation here. So what we want to see is they have a movement range of 8 and they can shoot for 4. So we want to stay out of range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. They could shoot up there. So let's stay here. Right?
300 millimeters of armor is no joke.
Well, our battleship actually doesn't care
Captain.
because of the armored deck. Yeah, that's the thing.
We're on a floating fortress.
So it was here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4.
Aye,
So
aye,
we
sir.
sail there, and this is here. This is our heavy cruiser, the auxiliary heavy cruiser.
We aim for the sky, in full flight.
You guys sail there. Very nasty exhaust.
A destroyer is an escort ship equipped with medium caliber naval guns, anti-aircraft guns, torpedoes, and anti-submarine depth charges. It is inferior to capital ships in terms of combat potential. However, it is able to detect enemy submarines with sonar and destroy them with depth charges. A destroyer also provides fire support versus air attacks. Use destroyers for reconnaissance, convoy escort, anti-submarine, and anti-aircraft warfare.
Yeah, that's why we want to have the destroyer always close to these guys. Also, let's use the sonar. So, in 2 tiles distance, there's no submarine.
Guarding the perimeter, on the prowl.
And by the way, by hitting WASD, we can also move around the map. That's also very modern, in my opinion. And QE lets us circle around, right? Also pretty convenient
are the
sometimes.
fastest ship. On
Let's
the lookout.
there. Sometimes we get this close up to see the movement.
We'll carry
in
you
the
through this
future, I will
battle.
mostly just click it
Do
away.
we really have to go through all that again?
But sometimes it's fun to watch it. So there we are. And then we
You
have
can
the
see
sub.
us?
And actually, maybe let's send the sub.
Will I become a hero? Guess not.
Yeah, no, where's the sub
It is so
there?
boring in here. Can we attack? Are we going home?
Okay.
Guarding the
So you
perimeter.
guys.
Your trust is well placed.
Okay. So, that's the situation here. So we have used all our planes. We have destroyed their invasion forces, like the ground forces. And let's see what their destroyers will do. So we have moved all our units. No one can do anything else. And now the big moment of truth will come when they start shooting. Let's end the turn. Oh, and by the way,
We're on a floating fortress.
let's look like
Verifying
so.
the enemy's location.
Aha, there's no one here, okay. Which is very interesting. And also no one like around here directly. Okay, so let's end the turn. We can't do anything else. All planes are in the air. We have 7 planes. Okay, damaged, yeah. Got lucky so far. Please, please, don't kill anybody permanently. Oh no, we lost the plane. Oh, that was unlucky. Now they are bombarding the infantry over there. But the good news is we will be able to repair most of the damage, but we lost 1 plane. Oh, and now it's night, which is bad for our attack. So, and now we see something. We lost 1 unit of the tactical bomber, and now we lost 12 prestige. We have to pay for the repairs, of course. Very unlucky, but on the other hand, they probably could have shot down something else, like more, right? So maybe we even got lucky, I don't know. Okay then. So, and this, my dear fellow strategists and tacticians, is where we end this episode. It has been rather long. I am usually at like around 45 minutes or so. Sometimes I'm getting carried away. Sometimes I need to make it a little bit shorter. But depending on the mission size, there are a lot of units to use, and it takes a little bit. And the maps can be pretty big, as far as I know. And yeah, we will see, and we will continue the next episode. So this year, let's hope the Japanese, the Imperial Japanese, don't get Tulagi. But right now, the only thing they can do is to bombard it. These guys here, yeah, they are actually not dead yet, so they are just scattered. Okay then. So, and how things will develop, we will see in the next episode. So thanks for watching. I would appreciate if you click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, so you never ever miss an episode again. And if you have any knowledge about the missions, the real world history, the units, yeah, you wish to share with me and the community, that would be greatly appreciated. I personally would like that, it that this Let's Play, like all the other Let's Plays I have, is becoming more like a platform where we can all discuss and share our knowledge. And yeah, maybe we will talk even about the conspiracy theory about Pearl Harbor. Yeah, because you remember that the guys, yeah, they were complaining a little bit, but yeah, what I find funny actually is that there were only like a good 2,000 deaths on Pearl Harbor during this attack, and that the carriers were not there, and only the battleships that were actually considered, while still powerful, they were not considered to be vital for future warfare, because the United States had adopted a carrier doctrine already. So there are conspiracy theories, and especially they had broken the code, so they knew actually about the declaration of war. They had decoded and translated the message that Japan sent to the Japanese diplomats prior to the attack. Actually, that's what I just read today. And what I will do is always read a little bit and then tell you a little bit, because I like to know about the bigger picture, you know. So, and that's a very nice opportunity with this game, because they already provide quite some knowledge, quite some historical facts, and I like that very much. I mean, this game is certainly not perfect, but this is certainly, there are many steps into the right direction here. I think there are a lot of very nice mechanics. We will see more of it in the next episodes. So, see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.